me before. Really? Man. Oh, man.
You know, as a Gen Xer, I actually came up in a time where dystopian movies like Mad Max or Escape from New York or Escape from LA, those became a zeitgeist of American culture. Also, during that time, a little bit down the line on there, is that we started to go ahead and actually get the gaming consoles. Most notably, PlayStation really changed the game, went to the disc format, and there was a game on there called Twisted Metal that was all about, cars, destruction, guns, lasers, just kind of craziness. And that was kind of like the light going into like the late 90s and going into the 2000s, all that kind of stuff. And it springboarded a lot of various different video games going forward. Now, for me, I didn't go ahead and I think I maybe have played a couple of games of Twisted Metal. It wasn't my thing on there, but the one thing that was iconic about all the Twisted Metals is Sweet Tooth, the crazy clown with the flaming hair and all that kind of stuff. So that was like the stuff on there, but I knew that it was a destructive car crazy tournament type thing or what have you on there, and it was part of the culture in Gen Xers or millennials coming up. Really awesome series, all that kind of good stuff. So in some ways, I could understand why Sony would want to produce a series or a movie surrounding that game. It featured cars, guns, killings, as well as a known Sony gaming property that has had multiple
Because
iterations
the 90s
of
and
it.
2000s was like when
And
these
it
games
does have
came
some
out, and
backstory to it. I don't really know what it is, but there have been some things written in for the characters that drive the various different cars. But in other ways, this just feels like a studio flailing at taking a property that's specific to a particular genre, in this case video games, and then trying to adapt it to another format without really thinking if it should be doing it at all. The video game, whether you're talking about small or big screens, the adaptations have had way more failures than success. So, here's hoping that Twisted Metal can at least be passable. Let's take a look. Now, while I love, this is when I'm right in my wheelhouse, the late 90s, early 2000s of gaming and culture, dystopian stuff on there, that's all in my wheelhouse. But Twisted Metal as a game, as a series and things like that, never played it, don't know anything about it. So I'm going to go ahead and actually place myself as being a casual viewer here, meaning because I don't know a lot of the lore to it or anything like that. Hopefully the matchup of the scenic landscape actually matches up to maybe what the lore of the video game is, and maybe those people really like that. But I'm going to consider myself a casual viewer coming into this series. The reason why I do that is that I think you should know what type of bias your reviewer has coming into a review, so you can go and actually make that determination when you go and actually figure out what's worth your time. Because I watched the first 2 episodes of new content on streaming services to see if they're worth your time. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let me get into this review for you. Now, Twisted Metal premiered on Peacock in July of 2023. It contains 10 episodes, each about 30 minutes apiece. It stars Anthony Mackie as John Doe, Beatrice as Quiet. And you read that right, yes, Quiet. Or you heard that right, that's Quiet is her name. Yeah, it's a video game, what do you expect? Alright. So here's the storyline. Very simple. Follows a motor-mouthed outsider offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So this is an adventure, action, comedy that's set in an apocalyptic landscape. Now, for a casual viewer like myself, I'm expecting a good world building for me to understand how this world works. I need for this to go ahead and actually make sense. The world building needs to make sense so that I can just kind of figure out what it is. I also need at least one good character for me to root for and to empathize with, so I can kind of project myself onto them, so that I can kind of feel that world and as it makes sense to me. And then obviously there's got to be some cool action stuff, some satisfying reason for watching, just that kind of excitement, gore, romance, whatever it's going to be. Now, for main target audiences, people that love dystopian films, love Twisted Metal, all that kind of good stuff, The world building is just as important for those folks because it needs to go and actually be accurate to what they know. The characters are nice, but not necessarily, they're not a necessity if the story is good. Good action, choreography, these are necessities for mains to really really be entertained for. The end results and purpose are a must for mains. A main hates when an excellent built world is built very well, but the journey or the result is disappointing. So you don't want to go ahead and actually put all that great world build on and the journey be so phenomenal and it's a flat dud ending. That's not going to go and actually work for a main. They will go and actually turn on you real quick. So that's the expectations. So let's go ahead and actually look at the story first on this one. Okay. Now the first episode gives quite a bit of exposition of the world and the starting point of the series through the narration of John Doe's character. Some scenes are laid out, but most of it's kind of like quick shots of just kind of giving you here, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And basically, we kind of get the assumption that there was some type of either meteor shower or maybe apocalyptic war. We really don't really know. You kind of get a little hint of what happened to the world, but not really. All you know is that it is now, fend for yourself apocalyptic type of thing. Okay. Resources are scarce. That's the kind of way everything happened. The existing governments put up walls around major cities. They threw out the criminals and said, this is how we gonna live. Y'all can't get up in here. We ain't coming out there. It is what it is. And the John Doe character, Anthony Mackie's character, is part of what's known as milkmen, and that's the name of these guys who, it's this group that they go and actually transport supplies from city to city. But they're never residents of a city. They're constantly having to move.
The world fell to shit. Cities put up walls to protect themselves and threw the criminals out so they could fight over what was left.
And John has a chance to become part of one of these cities if he can complete a nearly impossible transport. And so we understand why he wants to do it, because the alternative is always being mobile, always looking over his shoulder, etc. So he's never known anything but being on the move. So this is giving him a great opportunity to go and actually be something other than what he's done all his life. His face, it's a fun concept. This whole thing is shot like in a quick scenes, quick snap scenes, quickly edited. We never reside too long in one place. And let's just say what it is. It's kind of like a video game. They're just taking you through all the various different things. And that's when it works for you, is that when they are actually doing quick shots. If they stay too long in an area, you kind of start to realize how surface level this all is, at least in these first couple episodes. Like in this new world, there is no internet, there's no telephones, so communication, transportation, resource gathering for a closed-off city is almost ridiculous to leave to these milkmen. Like, why would you do that? Like, you have too many people to support, and to just kind of leave it up to these random folks on there just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you got to remember, the people that are thrown out there that are in the wastelands or whatever, by their nature, they're criminals, or they're offspring of criminals, whatever the case may be. In any case, they're not to be trusted, but yet you have them going back and forth from city to city, delivering supplies or whatever. So it's kind of a little crazy. Dialogue is kind of average. The script writing is kind of average. It's not the worst that I've seen, especially since, admittedly, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It does have comedic tones and effects on there, and that you can appreciate or what have you. But the dialogue is kind of like average. Some scenes it's actually really funny or really cool. There's other scenes where you'd be like, just eye rolling. So take that for what it is.
Welcome to New San Francisco. I want to hire you. Pick up a package, bring it back. I can make your every wish come true. So, John, what do you wish for?
Toilet paper. 2-ply.
I think I can do better.
3-ply?
So when you go and actually look at it, I think mains are going to be okay with the story. They're going to be fine with it as long as it makes sense or what have you. I don't know how close it is towards the lore of actual Twisted Metal, but it seems to be fine world building for something that is very much based off of a video game. Casuals will only like it if they're willing to suspend disbelief and logic. And they'll only do that based on the characters in action to see if they really like those. So let's dive into the acting portion of it. Anthony Mackie is kind of like an average to above average actor. Kind of depends on the material. He does have a certain funny dude that can be serious at times kind of vibe on there. He can switch back and forth on there where he's got the comedy chops, but he can go and actually bring some dramatic aspects of things. So he has a certain charm to him, right? And there are times where his acting in lines are pretty good, and then there's other times where it kind of falls flat. And this has to do somewhat with his character kind of being a little stunted in the aspect of maturity. I am just saying that because I don't want to spoil anything. There is a certain level of life that he didn't go ahead and actually get to experience before everything just went the way that it did. So there is a reason for how he acts and why he reacts the way that he does on there. But he's generally a good guy. You actually want to cheer for John Doe overall. The other lead in this is Stephanie Beatriz as Quiet, and she's an okay character. They give her depth and drama at the very beginning, but then the tone shifts and it's kind of weird, at least in the first 2 episodes. I think that the character is just fine. It's just that the scenes are very weird in especially in like the 2nd episode. It just, you don't get a lot from that particular character or what have you. But I think for what is scripted, what's written out there for, Beatrice does perfectly fine on that one. Some of the supporting actors are good. The bad guys and possible good guys on the roads are a mixed bunch. Overall, I'm going to say that this series watchability will hinge on liking Mackie and Beatrice's characters. I'll say that both mains and casuals are going to be okay with their characters. I don't think that they're going to blow you away, at least in those first 2 episodes, but I think you could go ahead and actually empathize, vibe with them, and kind of get who they are and understand their personalities. Other thoughts that I have about this series. The violence and action in this series is fun. You get some gore, you get some vehicular craziness, and guns, and some hand-to-hand combat. So you get all that in those first couple episodes. From the perspective of source material fans, I'm hoping that the car scenes are a mainstay throughout the entire series. I like what I've seen so far from that, and it seems as if time-wise, this world kind of stopped around the early 2000s. So we get vehicles, tech, music, and other pop culture references from that period. And that really kind of gives you a trip down memory lane, especially if you are a Gen Xer or a millennial. I think you'll definitely be tuned in for that. Lastly, and I won't spoil it, but we do see Sweet Tooth in episode 2, and there's trailers out there for it, so I'm not spoiling anything that he's in here. And it's equally fun and disappointing, at least from the first 2 episodes, that I'm guessing there are more scenes planned later in this series. So I'm going to go ahead and actually say, the main staple icon for Twisted Metal is Sweet Tooth, and his depiction is like kind of cool, and then there's other times he'd be like, huh? So that's kind of the thought process that I had of seeing him on screen. But let me get to that verdict for you guys. I'm going to say for both main and casual viewers, watch the first 2 episodes of Twisted Metal. Now, the story is okay. The acting is mostly good. The action is fun and very much video game-like. Mackie and Beatrice are likable enough to watch these 2 episodes. And for me, you have to see both episodes to feel if you really want to see the entire series. Episode 1 is significantly better than 2 in my opinion, but some setups and possible pacing switch-ups are present in the 2nd episode to give you a fully fleshed out of what this series is going to look like. So you really want to watch both episodes in order to really get the feel. So again, for both main and casual viewers, go and actually watch the first 2 episodes on Twisted Metal.
Oh my God, it's DMV.
What's down the red line? Cool, scream.
I appreciate you staying for this entire time. If you stay for this entire time, you get a small treat. I don't know if it's really a treat, but I've actually watched this series beyond that. I actually enjoyed it enough to go and actually binge it out the entire 10 episodes. And when I sit there and tell you, I actually love this series. And they set it up very well at the end, where I believe that's going to be more like the video game. The characters, everything that they went with it, I loved it. the entire series. It was actually really awesome to see. So I am cheering for this to go ahead and actually go to a second season where they left it off, because I really liked it. So if you stay for me that long, you now know exactly how I feel about the entire series, not just the first 2 episodes. So if you liked all that, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe, or you can go and actually watch one of these other videos. But in any case, take care of yourself. I'll holler at you.